I didn't, I think they should have used it at least one more time to really drive home that joke. It's really funny. I really enjoyed it. Okay. This episode, Carue is truly the MVP for doing everything he can for Vivi and for the kingdom. I can't believe this happened though. You guys obviously saw it already in the video, but one of my patrons took the time to make this little gif. And it still makes me feel bad. I literally do this to shoot Mr. 2 who was in the background, and then bam, a fucking bullet sound, and then Carue. I still feel bad when I see it. I really love it when you guys make these gifs of these moments that you enjoy, because then I get to laugh at myself too, and that's fun. I really love that Sanji was not just there, he ran after Mr. 2 to protect and help Vivi against him, but he also took a moment to stand up for Usopp, since Mr. 2 had just beaten Usopp and Eyelashes. I appreciate that because it shows that despite how many people, One Piece fans, say things like Usopp should just die, or I'm sure nobody is saying that by now, at least I hope not, but I was reading the comments, and I know I shouldn't, you can tell me I shouldn't, but I only read the 5 top voted comments, and I've never been spoiled. Okay, that's a lie. I've only once been spoiled in the comment section of an Angel Beats video. Usually, like, 1 out of all the anime I've watched is not going to make me stop reading the top 5 comments of videos, because I enjoy seeing what other people thought about the episode, okay? So don't berate me. I will take responsibility if I do end up getting spoiled in the top 5 voted comments of a One Piece video. The comments, you know, okay? So anyway, I'm hoping that the kind of those kinds of comments have been left behind by now after episode 114, but we'll get there. So I appreciate that because it shows that despite how many people, One Piece fans, say things like Usopp should just die, just because he's not as strong as the others, the crew really loves him and appreciates his contribution to them. To the crew, I said crew one too many times. I have no problem with someone not liking a character or liking other characters more, but I am honestly surprised every time I read someone say something like, that character should just die. What the heck? You call yourself a One Piece fan? Those can't be real fans, because a real One Piece fan would realize that saying something like that about a Straw Hat would not be okay with the other characters like Sanji, Luffy, and Zoro. I don't think any of them would tolerate someone talking like that about their nakama. I've even seen people say they hate that Vivi was or is considered a Straw Hat. I just feel like, isn't it insulting to Luffy's judgment? He and the rest of the crew welcomed her as a member of their family, so who are we to say she doesn't deserve it? Obviously, I realize that Luffy is not real, and maybe you think I'm taking those kinds of comments too seriously, but think about it this way. Oda still wrote this story, even though I'm sure he did not expect everyone to love each character, it's normal to like some people more than others after all, based on our personal preferences, but I feel like there should still be a level of respect for the characters and the creator, which is Oda. So, obviously villains, he wrote villains to be disliked 9 out of 10 times, or maybe in One Piece's case, 5 out of 10 times. But especially with core members that I feel like Oda really poured his heart and soul into, like, saying they should just die is a shitty way of expressing an opinion, and honestly, those are the kinds of people whose comments I don't want to waste my time reading. Okay, rant over. Zoro saying shut up and go hide is so hilarious. If only they had listened to him in that scene. It was just funny while editing, knowing that just after he said this, the 2 assassins end up going for Nami. So if she had just listened to him in that moment, maybe, I'm not saying they wouldn't have found her, but maybe their focus would have been on Zoro and not her. Usopp asking when he got to Chopper at the other gate, Did the Mr. 4 pair run off? Made me think of another anime that I'm watching. It's called Welcome to the Ballroom and it's about competitive dance. In the anime, they also refer to dance partners as pairs, like the Sengoku pair, the Mr. 4 pair. I found it funny because it made me imagine Mr. 4 and Miss Merry Christmas as a competitive dance pair. Anyway, this is not related to anything about One Piece, but I would recommend Welcome to the Ballroom to anyone who likes sports anime, but with a more romantic twist. Not that there's a lot of romance, but you'll get what I mean if you watch it. Plus, the art style is amazing. And then I just included a little gif here of the Sengoku pair. And I imagined Mr. 4 and Miss Merry Christmas do something like this in like a tight competitive dance dress. And I was just like, konopa, konopa. That would not have worked. Okay. At this point, where Chopper said Mr. 4 must possess inhuman arm strength. At this point, I'm still not entirely sure whether Mr. 4 has devil fruit powers or not. Miss Merry Christmas ate the Mogu Mogu fruit, like Chopper said, so she is a mole woman. And the gun somehow ate the Inu Inu fruit, I think that's what it's called, and he is now a gun dog. Dog gun. Yeah, that's the thing. Both of these are Zoan types. As far as I remember, don't correct me if I'm wrong. I want to puzzle these things out in my head myself. Just like Chopper's. But Mr. 4, at this point, just seems to have exceptionally strong arms, which makes him a great batter, which works well with a dog gun, but I don't think he has an actual devil fruit power. He just has really strong arms, right? I don't know. Episode 114, Swear on Your Crewmate's Dream, Battle at Mole Hill, 4th Avenue. So this was a fucking awesome moment. I watch, and I have to just say this, but I watch One Piece on Kiss Anime because there is the Kaizoku fan subs, and all my patrons have told me watch the Kaizoku, watch that because the subs are just better than the ones on Crunchyroll. And I have wanted to switch over to Crunchyroll a few times before because look at the quality of this. Like, to me this looks really good. I went to the Crunchyroll video to screenshot this moment because usually what I do is I just screenshot from this is you can see the little my doll in the background there. Wait, see, it's this background, so you can see that it sees through because I wouldn't have, it would take me even longer to do my videos and notes if I had to download the episode, and while I'm editing, okay, I want to screenshot this, so then I go find that part in the video, in the episode I mean, and then screenshot it. So what I do is while I'm editing, I just screenshot, if I want to say something about a certain scene, I just screenshot it from the video that I'm editing. And to me it's also better anyway because you have to be really careful with copyright and stuff, and I don't want to use too much of the actual images without, you know, making them non-perfect in some way, because otherwise it's just like posting manga chapters or something online. I don't know how strict copyright is, to be honest. I'm doing my best here. But anyway, how good does this not look? And I wanted to post it in honor of Captain Usopp. Usopp is legit so awesome. I know I've said this before, but I keep seeing people in the Crunchyroll comments. When I went to screenshot this, I saw another comment saying he's useless. And I think, even if they don't like him, that's pretty unfair, that statement. He defeated Chu during the Arlong Park arc, and he was the one who came up with the idea to use Mr. 3's wax power to make a key for that cage they were trapped in. He's not the strongest character, but saying he's useless is kind of delusional. I'm joking, but in a way, it is kind of delusional. I'm all for sharing your opinion, and I'm aware that it's all based on personal preference, but if you want someone to actually listen to your opinion, have good reasons for why you don't like someone. Or not good reasons, just reasons. Don't just say something arbitrary like, he's useless. Just say, I don't like him because I prefer strong characters. That way you express your opinion and I can go, oh, yeah, I actually like him because he's a weak character, because that makes him relatable. It's just a better way of delivering an opinion, because it's kind of non-combative. I said here, don't use absolutes like always, never, or useless, because there are specific cases where he definitely has been useful. So it's the same if here's some relationship advice. You will have arguments with friends, family, your lover, whatever. You're gonna have arguments, and in a relationship, when you want someone to hear your point in an argument, never say never, but seriously, try your best not to say things like never, like you never take out the trash. Like it's not gonna get through to them, and they're just gonna go up defensive because they're gonna think of that one time when they did take out the trash, and it's negative, and it's just a silly way of arguing. Instead of saying you never take out the trash, I don't know, you can, well, this isn't Relationship Advice 101 channel. I'm just trying to express to you that there are definitely better ways of delivering your opinion in a way that will make people want to listen to you. Instead of just, when someone says, Usopp is useless, he's such a stupid character, I'm not gonna read your comment. I'm not gonna, like, you guys won't believe me, but I recognize some of your names on YouTube in the comments. Like, I'll remember certain people and certain things, like, and then I'll want to respond to you, and you kind of build up relationship with commenters. And I'm just saying, like, if you want not just me but other fans to, if you really want us to have discussions and enjoy watching an anime together, like, obviously if you're watching my reaction, you want to see someone else watching your favorite show and talk about it. So if you want to do that in a constructive way that's fun and not combative all the time, just try and express your opinions in a way that's less Usopp is stupid, he's a useless character, I hate him. Like, that leaves no room for discussion. Rather just say, Usopp is not my favorite character because he's weak, I prefer Sanji because he's strong. And then that just leaves a little room for me to say, I also really like Sanji because he's strong, but Usopp is often my favorite because his weakness makes him more funny. I don't know, there's just that little wiggle room for some discussion to be had. But these are obviously just personal opinions. Freedom of speech is a thing, whatnot. You can express whatever you want, but freedom to listen is also a thing. And if you're gonna say some shit like Usopp is a stupid character, he should just die, I'm gonna think like, this is not the kind of person that I want commenting on my videos. I have 100 others to get through. So if people that can take things a little bit too far, I end up sometimes, if I see, okay, there was this one person that by the 5th time he commented something like arguing with me about me liking Zoro and how I'm so biased and awful and I'm dismissing the other characters and it's so irritating to him. By the 5th comment I read like that, I was like, I'm gonna block this person because I don't have time. 30 seconds to read through your comments, 10 seconds. 5 people, 10 seconds makes almost a full minute, which I could have used to reply to someone who said something constructive. You know what I'm trying to say? So I'm just trying to give some pointers, not just for my channel, but for other YouTubers. If you want them to actually reply to your comments, just like phrase yourself in a way that's less, Okay. Saying he's not strong is a valid reason for why you don't like him. It's understandable to like stronger characters more than you like weaker ones. It's a reason. I'm just saying, don't make it difficult for people to listen to you by just using arbitrary reasons like useless or stupid or he should die. Like, it's just meh, Another useful Usopp moment I just remembered. On Little Guardian, he played a big role in defeating Miss Valentine and Mr. Five when the others were all trapped. So, objectively, he is not a useless character because objectively, he has had use. Like, that's not even me being subjective because I like him. It's just objectively, he's useful. It's like, when I didn't like Nami all that much, I could never say, you know, she's an awful person, because objectively, there were moments when she's done good things and proven to be a good person, you know? I don't know. I'm rambling. Despite his lack of strength, he comes up with other creative ideas to defeat his opponents very quickly. It definitely makes him relatable, because how else would a normal human go about defeating these crazy enemies they come across in the Grand Line? I mean, fuck, Crocodile, what's his name? Well, Mihawk isn't technically, they met him out of the Grand Line, but he's in the Grand Line probably somewhere, so he's the kind of people they'd meet in the Grand Line. We'd have to resort to the same methods, us as people. That is, if we even make it this far, most of us would probably be too scared to go on such a journey at all, or would have turned back after fucking, I don't know, a lot of shit by now. Okay, I made a GIF, look. I made this because I don't remember who, I think it was Leo maybe, who suggested I screen record. So I screen recorded my screen, found this little GIF maker, and I made this because it's such an important moment for me where Chopper keeps repeating Usopp's words to himself. It's just like Usopp said, right now, I'll just do whatever I can. I don't know, I feel like Usopp's words meant that much to him, and he keeps using them to push forward in this fight. And in other times he's used it too. So I really loving the character's appreciation for Usopp, even if some viewers can't see it. Okay. But let's be realistic. Despite Usopp and Nami being the most relatable characters in terms of their abilities, they are still animated characters in a shonen. They can survive even explosions and such. Things we real humans, most of us, would not come out as unscathed. And I know what that word means, I just don't know how to say it. We real humans would not come out as unscathed as they sometimes do. So they go through things that we wouldn't, like, look at that, he lifts that thing like that. He just, after being exploded and shit, he's still doing okay, you know, relatively okay. We would be dead. So they're still animated characters, but they're definitely more relatable in terms of abilities compared to a character like Sanji and Zoro and Luffy. Especially Luffy, because he stretches, literally. Okay, when Mr. Four and them emerged from the smoke after Chopper's brilliant move to defeat them, Usopp's fear was, how do I put this, palpable. It was so intense that it made me really, really empathize with his character. But then, when he heard about Luffy from Mrs. Christmas thing, mole woman hag, when she said Luffy is dead, and she laughed at his dreams, the change in his attitude, look at that. He went from being the scaredy cat on Scared Cat Island to that face of like determination, like, you don't dare say this about my captain. Tonight I watched episode 115 and 116, and I can say that yes, Usopp really is awesome. Okay, here are a few comments from patrons. Joshua Castro, YX Casual. You can just pause if you want to read through them. These are the things that I thought was interesting. We discussed, sometimes in my full reactions I end up talking about things because I go through the comments, the top voted comments, I go through them in full reactions. So if I were to be spoiled on something in a full reaction, at least my reaction would be there on the whatever I was spoiled on. So what I think these comments are referring to was, someone was arguing about Usopp being a bad character because he's weak. And let me just read what YX Casual said, for example. For me personally, the fighting part of One Piece is actually its weakest characteristic. The character's strengths, plot, are its primary strengths. When I was very young, I started watching One Piece and then dropped it because fighting was not a main focus compared to the other battle shonen due to the power fantasy aspect of battle shonen being important to me when I was younger. I later came back and watched One Piece and came to appreciate it for all its strengths. And then Chris Mitchell I agree. I thought I was the only one lol who enjoyed the plot and characters way more. That's why some people like Naruto, Bleach, etc. so much and drop One Piece. Only when they come to appreciate all the facets of a good story do they realize how much better One Piece is compared to typical battle-centric shonen. So I have not watched Naruto, and I've not finished Bleach. I've gotten pretty far into it, but the reason why Bleach I haven't finished it, I think, is because there is a story, but it's mostly about the fighting. And for someone like me who like mostly cares about the story, the fighting doesn't always captivate me so much that I really want to finish it. I really do want to finish it, but something else always takes my time over because I feel like I'll get to Bleach. You know, I'll get to, because it is still fun to see the fights and see the characters, but it is, I don't know, in my opinion, a little bit more focused on these battles and stuff, whereas One Piece, I'm not gonna lie, the fighting is fucking awesome. Even this fight between Usopp, Chopper, Mr. Four, and I keep thinking Mrs. Four, Mr. Four and Miss Merry Christmas, like, it's funny and it's dynamic and it's cool because these powers, you're like, what's the next person's power? What's the next person's power? And these kinds of stuff. I personally feel fighting isn't its weakest characteristic, but I get what you're saying. If it has so many strong characteristics, even the fighting, which is so amazing, could be considered its weakest. If everything is so strong, something has to be the weakest. But I couldn't even call that the weakest because the fighting is so entertaining. But that's not the core of it for me. The core of One Piece for me, and the part I enjoy most, is the kind of beliefs, the way that it uses the story to impart these important life lessons, you know? That even for me transcends the great story because Oda uses the story to impart these amazing life lessons. So that is part of it, and then there's the story, and then there's the characters, and then there's the fighting. There's just so much about One Piece to love. So for people who are just watching for the fights, then yes, I get why you hate Usopp, but honestly, just never say that a character should just die. Like, really? Or unless, you know, you're just there to impart your opinion and don't care about anyone else's, then, I mean, yeah, freedom of speech, whatever, do what you want. Because you saying you want the character to die is not going to make Oda kill the character, so it doesn't matter. In the bigger picture, you know, I'm just saying, if you do care about, you know, actually having discussions with people and bonding with fans, because that's what I love to do, other fans of the show, I mean, then if you care at all, then I don't know, it's good to learn how to communicate. And I'm not saying I'm a perfect communicator. I'm learning as I go along as well. I have to consider communicating. How do I communicate properly when I have to deal with hundreds of people every day? When I post a video, it gets more than 100 comments and I try my best to read and respond to every person. Sometimes I don't reply in the best ways because what happens, for example, is 10 people comment in that kind of aggravating way, like in a way that or makes me feel some kind of way. It tells me like, you didn't give Sanji enough credit, or like, and by the 10th comment I'm just like, what the fuck do you want from me, you know? But by that time 10 comments have made me feel like, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this, and then I'm just like, and then I kind of like, sometimes, I'm not saying I snap after 10 comments, but like, imagine a whole week of that, 10 comments every day. Not that I post every day, but I post different videos, and like, even in different types of anime, the same things happen. So I get frustrated about the same things. For example, people using manga, like manga readers, like arguing with me using their knowledge as manga readers so they know more of the story. Like, people do that with One Piece. People do that with Attack on Titan. That's where it started. I have this chip on my shoulder now with people that do that because of Attack on Titan, and now people were doing it in One Piece, and people are also started doing it recently in Kimetsu no Yaiba, and it's all these. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I developed this chip on my shoulder because I'm dealing with literally hundreds of people or so it feels. I don't know. It builds up to hundreds of people after a couple of videos, you know. And I need to learn how to deal with all these people and just neutralize. This is just one comment out of 10 other good ones. Like, I need to learn how to do that as well. But I always think of Gloria when from Modern Family. So Modern Family is like my favorite series. I'm currently on season 7. I always think of Gloria. She says, like, I have 10 little explosions all throughout the day, and that means that I don't have the big explosion. So that's what I do. I have like some mini explosions so that I don't like, fuck it, I'm just gonna quit YouTube, everyone sucks, you know, something like that. And then I come back after a week and like, actually I just had a big explosion and I don't want to quit YouTube. So instead of doing that, but it's not good to have the mini explosion either, because sometimes the person on the receiving end of the mini explosion, that was their first time commenting something, and I don't know, English may not be their first language, and maybe they expressed themselves in a way that seemed crude, but I just took it a bit too personally because I had to deal with 10 other people calling me ignorant because I didn't see, I don't know, something. Now I see I'm talking about Attack on Titan stuff. I hope that's not a spoiler. I hope it's vague enough not to be a spoiler. What was the purpose of my discussion? Little explosions. Oh, if I ever have a little explosion on you, please forgive me and just ask me or say to me, did you just have a little explosion? Just the other day, I had a conversation via comments with, I think it was Will, and he was like a little offended because I mentioned something that triggered me and was irritating, but I wasn't specifically referring to his comment. His comment was probably one of the many, but he personally did not say what he said in an aggravating way. There was this other person, and I'm not going to mention them because their name, I don't want to put anyone on blast. That person's comment was the kind of comment that makes me actually build up that kind of and then someone else who just says something like Will's, for example, there's just adds a little bit, but they didn't even mean it in an aggravating way. But anyway, so it just builds up, you know, small things and then bigger things, and then they all end up piling on top of each other because it's a lot of people to deal with, and I'm not always that good with dealing with people. I'm still learning. So I mentioned those kinds of comments, and I feel because his comment mentioned something like that, maybe he thought I was referring specifically to him, but I wasn't. So I replied to his comment and said, luckily I saw it, because sometimes I don't go back to old videos, but this wasn't. He commented on the most recent video and said he was kind of offended that I made such a big deal about it. And then I went to explain, like, don't worry, it wasn't specifically about you. I don't think you should be offended because, you know, generally the people that comment those kinds of, if they're really the types that make me feel that way, I wouldn't even bother replying, or I would just delete the comment 9 out of 10 times, or sometimes my mods delete those comments for me because they know it would, you know what I'm saying? Or I don't know, in worst case scenarios, if it's like that other person that literally insults me, like calling me ignorant and like literally just going like overboard, but those kinds of people get blocked. And I just explained to him that you're definitely not the kind of person that I was referring to, and he was like, oh, okay, he understands now, and we can talk it out, you know, and that's good that we could talk it out. And I hope that, as you guys can see in this video specifically, I'm not the kind of reactor that, like, I'm not saying other reactors don't fucking love anime and they're not passionate about it. Of course I'm not saying that. It would be stupid to say that. But I have to admit that I am the kind of reactor that is very passionate about anime and passionate about stories. And I want to talk about it. I don't just want to watch and put my reaction out there and you guys should now watch it and enjoy it and give me the views and give me the likes. No, I want to talk. I love live streaming because I like talking with you guys. But now I can't live stream because I have shit internet. I'm waiting for good internet, so I can't live stream because I need a 6 upload speed to live stream. I only have a 3 to 4 megabits per second upload speed. I can't live stream. So now I have all this built up, you know, chatting to do with you guys, and I can't. So I end up, look at me. This video didn't need to be this long, but you know, here we are. I'm enjoying reading your comments. And I consider your comments. I actually read them and care about them, and that's why it's not always so easy for me. Even if I tell myself, don't even respond to this comment, just delete it. They just cancel, clear, delete, cancel, clear, delete. Even if I say that to myself, I take things to heart because I really care about what you guys are saying, and I want to talk to you guys, and I want to understand you, and yeah. Okay, so that's it from my side. Thank you so much for listening to me, and thank you for watching these 2 episodes with me. The next 2 will be posted when I'm done editing them. Okay, see you guys next time. Bye!